And welcome to another video tutorial. In this session, we're going to look at rotation, which is a process of turning an object around a fixed point called pivot or the transformation point. In Adobe Animate, when rotating, we are allowed to spin in either clockwise or counterclockwise, which is right to left or left to right. So there are two ways to rotate or create the illusion of rotation in Adobe Animate. The first approach is to use a free transform tool, in which case you just drag or rotate the shape on an object around the corners, or to use what is referred to as a motion tween. In the case of rotating using a tween, we create first of all um, a frame and then a keyframe. So you have a keyframe and a frame, and in between you create a motion tween. In animation can be done either using motion tween or classic tween. When that is done, you're going to choose either to rotate again in clockwise or counterclockwise direction. And again, the number of rotation can be increased, whether one or twice, or depending on the number you are interested in. So basically, that is what rotation is all about. So we'll take an example to have a fair idea of what to do when you are supposed to rotate something. All right, so we'll make this a bit bigger. All right. So in this scenario, we're going to rotate this wheel, right? And we're going to use the first approach where we're going to use a free transform tool. So I'm going to extend the frame for all the layers. So from layer 1 all the way to the third layer, which is the background layer, I'm going to insert a frame. So I'll insert a keyframe, right? Now, so I'm interested in the wheel. So with the free transform tool selected at the five, the fifth frame, I'll insert a keyframe. So once a keyframe is selected, I'll insert a keyframe and then click on the free transform tool or select basically the shape. I'll hold the shift and turn this at an angle of 45. Come to the 10 frame and then insert a keyframe again. Holding the shift key, I turn again, insert a keyframe again, and then I rotate. At the 20th time frame, I insert another keyframe. Holding the shift key, I rotate. Come to the 25th frame, insert another keyframe, and rotate again. And then finally, at the 30th frame, I come back to the original position that I started with. All right, so if I take the cursor back and hit on the play, you notice that this creates the illusion of an object rotating on stage. Now, this is one way to create the illusion of rotation. Um, so now we can go through the same process and then do a counterclockwise, but we're going to do that with this the other approach, which is using the motion tween or classic tween. Okay, so we're going to take another example. We're going to take another example and do exactly the same thing we did. However, this time we're going to make use of classic tween. So I'm going to come to the 60th frame and insert a keyframe. Go to the 120th frame and then insert another keyframe. I'll select the two other layers and then insert a frame. All right. So once a classic twin is created, I'm going to click on the first keyframe. By default, this frame in the frame in the property panel should be activated. So by default, we have rotate here, which has auto. So we select the clockwise rotation. Now, the number of rotation here can be increased depending on what the question says. And then now we want to have an anti-clockwise direction, and that is why we inserted two keyframes. So I'm going to select the second keyframe here. And again, you notice by default in the frame section, the rotate is on auto. So I'm going to select counterclockwise. So what happens is that when we play, it goes in a counterclockwise direction. And then, so it starts from the clockwise and gradually changes to the counterclockwise direction. Now we can ease in and out the rotation to make it more smooth if it is not behaving like the way you want it to. So you can just um, the effect to make it run quite smoothly as we just selected. So when I click on the play here, you notice that this time it's a bit slow, right? But if that is not what you're looking for, you just go back and then make sure it's on classic, and that's all, right? Okay. So this is one way to do um make use of rotation. We'll take the last example, in which case we're going to do a car and apply the effect of rotation to make a car move forward and backwards. So we'll create a new document and then import to stage um, a car. So we go to desktop, animation. So we import this car to stage, right? So, and then we're going to convert this to a symbol. So we just label this as car. And then we're going to bring in here. So I'll label this as body. So that's the body of the car. Bring in a new layer. So that's going to be the tire. And so we're going to import to stage the tire. All right, so I'll reduce user free transform holding the shift key and bring the car down, the tire down to fit right there. Okay, so I'm going to click on a new layer. So since this is the back tie, I'll label it as BT. All right. And then I'm going to convert this to a symbol and name it BT. All right. And I'm going to do the same thing for the second layer. Import to stage. We already have the tie on stage, so we can go to the library and then bring it in here. Right. So that becomes the front tie. So I'll label it as F thigh. All right. So once this is done, we can double check here by zooming in. So you're going to do Control plus, and the pivot has to be at the center. So we just drag it to the center. We've done that for the back tie. We have to do the same for the front tie. So I'm just going to zoom in again. Sorry. So right here, I drag the pivot to the center so that the point of rotation goes on and smoothly right there. So I'm going to zoom back again. No, so just like we did the first one, we're going to do exactly the same thing here. So I select all three layers and I'll come to the 60th frame, and then I'm going to insert a keyframe. I'm going to make use of classic twin. Select all three layers and I'm going to create classic twin. All right. Now, once Classic Twin is created, I want this car to start, let's say, somewhere from the back here, out of the stage. So I'm going to select all three layers to make sure I have all the properties or the component of the car selected, and I'll drag it out of stage. Bring, excuse me. So I'm going to hold the front tie and select the second tie, or can do it one at a time. So holding the front tie, I go to the property panel. Within the frame, I'm going to apply clockwise rotation to the front tie, and I'll select the back tie again and apply clockwise rotation to that. So when I play, you'll notice that the car now moves straight to the stage, right? Now, I actually want this car to move out of the stage and then come back. So what is going to happen is that I'm going to still I'm going to move the car out of stage by selecting all the three layers. And so I drag it out of the stage. So when I come back and play, you notice that the car now moves out and then into the stage and out of the stage. Now we want it to now come back to the stage. So I'm going to move my playhead to the 120th timeline, and then I'm going to insert a keyframe. Right. Now, once a keyframe is selected, I'm going to activate. So on this timeline here, which is the second keyframe, I'm going to change the rotation now to counterclockwise, select the second one, and then apply a counterclockwise rotation as well. And then once the counterclockwise rotation is effected, I bring my playhead to the far end and drag, holding all the layers. I drag the car back on stage here. So now when we play, the car moves straight out of stage and then reverses slowly back onto the stage. All right. So this are some typical examples of rotations. So we've done clockwise and counterclockwise, and we've seen how this can be applied in an exact situation where you are asked to make an object move either forward and backwards. Um, and so basically that is how rotation can be applied in Adobe Animate. All right. So this brings us to the end of this video tutorial. We'll meet again and then look at some other concepts in animation. So till we meet again, bye bye.